ladies. How are you guys? This is not my normal stream day, I know, but I'm up to my ears in painted papers, and I just thought maybe you guys would want to join along in my painted paper serendipity paper extravaganza. And I know today is not my normal day, so, but I'm sitting here and I've been working on my, doing my painted papers and doing all my stuff. Hi, Luana. I know today's not my normal day, but I'm just in the middle of my painting. I've been painting papers. What I've been doing is I've been going through my old book blocks. Hey, how are you? Hi, Renee. I know today's not my normal day, but I'm in like the midst of my own like chaos and stuff, and I thought maybe, hi Kat, hi Nancy. So I've just been doing tons of painted papers. I'm trying to, you guys know, like I've been cleaning out and doing my stuff, and I have all these book blocks, and I've been trying to just, and I've got paint and stuff I'd like to use up, and so I have I've been making all kind of painted papers. Hi, Susan. So what is everybody up to? Hey, Kat. Hey, Nancy. We have two Nancys, Nancy W and Nancy S. So if you guys don't know what serendipity paper is, it is, let me see if I can find some that I've made up here. Of course, our neighbor's dog decides they're going to go barking and being crazy all at once. That's just how it works. Serendipity paper is just like collage paper, like your own one-of-a-kind paper. I know I have some over here. I've got my painted, I got all my good stuff going on. So what are you guys up to today? Tell me about your day. So serendipity paper is something like this. This is just one small piece, okay? And it's just like collaged one-of-a-kind paper, and then you use it in your projects. You use it in other projects. So it's not like you have to, it's not like you could use it for a cover of something if you wanted. But the idea is to use up all your bits and scraps of paper that you have laying around. And if you're anything like me, I have a good amount of it going on. So I've been trying to use all my book blocks. And I've been trying to use especially those really fragile papers, that are, the ones that you really can't do much with. So I've been trying to use up all of those and paint them so that I can use them in collage stuff. So tell me what everybody else is doing. I want to hear. Hi, Patricia. You're watching my fabric beads and serendipity paper. I'm a little bit addicted. You know what? Right now I'm sort of in the mode of like trying to like just get my supplies in order, especially while I'm, we're going through some home renovations. Oh, Luana, you made a few pieces of serendipity paper and 2 meander books today. Awesome. Oh, good for you. So you know what, I wanted to show you guys a couple of things. Like, I know that you guys know how much I'm in love with a Jelly Arts gel plate, right? You guys know how much I love that. And I made these magazine pages jelly printed with just really cheap acrylic paint. You made a gratitude journal, Nancy? That's awesome. She wants to get you're taking her stuff out of your house, Luana, and putting it in storage, or you feel like you're storing your stuff all over your house? Hi, Bet. I know today's not my normal day, but I've been up since really early, and I made a ton of painted pages and stuff like that. So what I wanted to show you guys really quick, and then you guys chat me up and can work along with me. I'm just, making my big old mess. Oh, she got a new home and she's picking up her stuff. Oh, Luana, you're going to be like fancy, what is it? Footloose and fancy free with her stuff in your house. So you guys, this is the season of yard sales. Well, hey, Nancy, craft along, craft along. You know, Luana, it's your zen. So what? She hates your crafting. One day she'll understand you. May not be for a very long time, but she will. Oh no, you overdid it yesterday? I'm sorry, Kat. I hope you feel better. Hi, Liz. Anyway, you know, so it's the yard sale phenomenon where you guys are, right? And oh, you get to see your the baby too, Luana. Oh, that's so awesome. Hugs to you too. So, you know, a lot of times people, I know we're always scouring to, um, oh no, you have a bum shoulder, Renee. That's not good. I can relate though. I overdid it. You guys, I did like 10 or 12 hours worth of yard work on Sunday, which was totally ridiculous. And I'm still sore from it. We were digging out banana trees, and I have to tell you, it's crazy. So back to my rant on yard sales. So you guys, most of the time you can get, they charge you for hardback books, but there's always a pile of paperbacks. These make great collage pages. I don't know how many of you guys have, or maybe you know, people will give them to you. So that's what I've been using today. I've been ripping up different pages, but I used the cover for, I don't know, maybe I made a pocket with it or put it in one of my random collages. You guys know, like I make so much more art than I show you guys. I art every day, all day, and I do big, huge mixed media paintings and big collage pieces, and I use all of this sort of stuff in my work. Oh, you're confused because today's not. Now, tomorrow we're going to make those Christmas ornaments. You know, or if you guys don't want to make Christmas ornaments, then, you know, come and hang out. Or what did Dawn say last time? Drink whiskey. Drink whiskey. Yeah, they do age a whole lot better. They age far faster, and the pages are not as like good as like the quality is less, you know. Anyway, let me just give you guys, and I know you guys are always like telling me about my jelly plate and making fun of me about my jelly plate. Okay, so these are like super cheap stencils that you get at that big box store that I never want to talk about. And what I wanted to show you is that I know you don't have a jelly plate, but you can still make really cool bits and pieces for your collages and for your serendipity paper with a stencil, and you can make your own stencils. You guys know how to do that, and it's not a big deal. But I just wanted to show you, like, so I love to jelly print, but if you don't have a jelly plate, don't worry about it. If you can put sprays or paint, I mean, look, it makes really cool bits and pieces for your collage work. Okay, and it gives you a great way to use. Ned, you double use it. Okay, don't pick your stencil up, leave your stencil down. Lay your book page on top of the stencil, and you'll get it two ways. And I like using this in my work. Now you can do the same thing with acrylic paint, you guys. It just happened to have these sprays out because you know how much I love them. Hi, Jennifer. You didn't miss anything. I'm just making some painted papers today. I've just been sort of in my own like zen. Do you see? And these are great bits and pieces to use in. And then underneath, look, then you got that. So you got it two folds over. You know. So what I'm doing is I'm just making a bunch of random painted papers and collage bits, and then I've been working on this big piece of serendipity paper underneath, and I made it from a brown paper bag. So all of you guys who are into recycling your shopping bags or and it doesn't have to be brown, that just happened to be the one I had. Okay, so today, I know it's confusing. Today is not my normal day. Tomorrow we're gonna make those ornaments if you want to make along. But anyway, I'm sorry that you hurt your shoulder. That's like such a bummer, you know? I totally know that for myself too. It's like when I'm in physical pain, it's sort of, I don't know, it makes my world a little more cranky. What's cool about these paperbacks, so you guys, is they're much easier to use than a regular hardback as far as tearing them up. You're a brown paper bag hoarder? Well, wait till you see the serendipity paper I'm making underneath. So, you know, all of this came about because of that Meander book, the brown, I mean, I do like to use, I've made journals with brown paper bags, and if you use Mod Podge or one of those PVA style glues on top of a brown, like crinkle a brown paper bag up and then just paint it with that kind of a sealer. So see here, you get 2 prints too. So I don't know if that interests any of you guys, but somebody was always telling me like, how do you handle this? And what do you have, which I appreciate the questions, because I know anytime you can share your process with people appreciate it. So I just do a whole bunch. So, and then I put them in those accordion folders. So if you take a brown paper bag and you wad it up, like, you know, to get it all crinkly and wrinkly, and you wad it all up, and then you go back and you take it apart, you know, open it back up, and then you just lay it flat and Mod Podge or use a PVA style glue. You probably could just even use Elmer's glue on either side. It gives it like a leather texture. So I've made journal covers. I made my daughter her first traveler's notebook, I don't know, a few years ago when she was away at school. I made the cover out of a brown paper bag because at that, you know, she was like a vegan, whatever. You know, my kids are all over the place. But she was like an anti any animal cruelty thing, so it made it easier. Hi, Phaedra. How are you? So, how many of you are going to yard sale this weekend? Is anybody going to yard sale? You know, Diana's at that big yard sale, whatever it is, that really big one. It's not called the world's largest yard sale, is it? Susan, I have to tell you, I so loved your post. If you guys haven't joined our Facebook group, go on over. It's called Crafting Mamas on Facebook. I so loved your post. So Susan put this post on our Facebook group. It just made me laugh. She put this post on our Facebook group that said, you guys get to see me every week. And so she wanted to show you her. And she took a picture of her hands. I have to tell you, that was like awesome. It made me laugh. I like these dots. And I really like them in my collages. Yeah, the 127 garage sale thing. That is amazing. I don't know what I would do. I think I'd be out of my mind. It's the longest yard sale. Oh, okay. I'm drinking tea today again, girls, but today I'm drinking yerba mate. How many of you guys like yerba mate tea? I made myself iced tea and I made it with yerba mate. I'm obsessed with dots, you guys. I'll show you guys the art that I sell sometime, and it has a lot of dots in it. I'm sorry, I have a dot obsession. I totally have a dot obsession. I don't know what it is. It's ridiculous, right? But I do. I have a dot obsession. No lie. Dot obsession. Dot obsession. I don't know why. It's ridiculous. So does anybody else like yerba mate tea but me? How many of you guys finished your Meander books? Did you finish them? I know. I saw. Yeah, she got it. Yeah, Diana told me that she got a brand new crocodile for like really cheap at her yard sale, still in the package. You know the problem, Kate? I mean, the problem, Kat, for me is that people move on and off our island so much, and I honestly don't need anything. If I went, it would be just to, I mean, I don't know. It would have to be like super special things, you know? So now you guys see my trick on trying to get through using my book pages. And I'm going to show you I'm just trying to, honestly, I'm trying to let go of some of these novels, and the pages are so nice, and I'm like, oh, do I need one more? And then Like, okay, I'm just going to buckle down, and for the next couple of days, when I'm not doing other stuff, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to paint some pages. And then that way I'll be... So you can see I've been working on this one underneath. Now, you know, somebody gave me these Recollections sprays. Can I tell you? They have a really nice shimmer, but the bottle's clogged and they're brand new. And so it's ridiculous. Hi, Mary Kay. Kat, where do you live? Where do you live that you think that we have all the best stuff? I think we just have junk. I think it's just sort of indicative of our society. We like have too much stuff, right? So I'm going to clean up my space a little bit, and then I'm going to show you my painted papers. I'm sorry, guys, I have to turn off my phone. It's 3:45 there. Where do you live, Kat? Did I miss it? Clogged, but I know, but they're brand new. So anyway, I'm sorry, one of my kids is out and I wanted to make sure everything was okay with her. So I want to show you guys. So if you made that meander book with me, I'm sorry, I've got my pages, and so this is a really big brown paper bag, okay, and I cut it up. I just cut the seams of it out, and I cut this out, and I painted, and I started to claw. I painted it with some white craft paint, black craft paint, a little metallic. I started putting some sprays over it, right? And then I just started gluing. And that's the state I'm in right now, is I'm just starting to glue all my bits down. Now I want to show you guys that meander book. Remember we did that meander book, and then remember I had that really ugly side, and then you know, I haven't had that experience, Luana. I really haven't had the clogged thing. It's just been that Recollections one. So remember I did that really ugly side, or I had the brown paper side, and then, so I went back and I collaged on some of it. So now you can see this was the brown black side of my meander book, and I just added some pages, added some bits and pieces to that side. And I added some bits and pieces to that side, and this was the original side that I had collaged on with all those painted papers and book pages that I'd used. So my only thing is, I think if you wanted to make your meander book feel more like, you know, to make it feel more uniformed or more, you know, more random, is to probably try and paint or do similar motifs on both sides of your paper. I mean, I think I'm going to go back and put words on it, but now you kind of get the idea, right? Yeah, okay, I'll soak the lids. I will soak the lids in alcohol. It was just kind of a bummer because I hadn't used them and they're brand new. And, you know, I hadn't used them and they were brand new. And so, get your collage bits out. So now you see what I have, and this is just like, these are bits and pieces that I've painted. And I'm going to glue them all on this side, and then if I make a meander book out of it, I'm going to glue them on that side. If not, I'm going to leave that side plain. Hey, Brenda. And I'm just using a glue stick, girls. I'm not getting all fancy and using like some wet glue. Because this piece is really big. It's bigger than a 12 by 12 piece. It's just brown bag. But it's a great way to make components for, you know, it's a great way to collage things for components. In your pieces, right? So that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been up to today, girls. That is what I've been up to. I have been making painty papers and jelly printing papers and making collage bits, and but it's a great way to give yourself like an opportunity to make really one of a kind stuff for your artwork. You know? Yes, I am totally, Brenda, I am into the Pity Pat Pat today. I am so into the Pity Pat Pat. I am so into the Pity Pat Pat. I'm so into the Pity Pat Pat. I am so into the Pity Pat Pat. I have been pity pat patting all day. I have been up since early and I have been totally pity pat patting. I have been having my pity pat pat day. So usually I put on some good music. What do you guys listen to when you make what do you guys listen to when you're making art? You have to clean off your desk before you make more stuff. Oh my Lord. I'm pity pat pat. I am pity pat pat. Mr. Wonderful says that that's how I make art. When you guys see my big pieces of artwork, you'll understand even more. He says that I'm pity pat pat. Because he says, like, he's a fine artist. He's a fine painter. He paints amazing things. Like, he could paint anything. He paints in such a way that it looks photographic, which I think is really cool. Which I think is really, really cool. I think that he's in a state of, he paints like amazing things, and he says what I do is I just like glue bits down, or I touch the paint and pity pat pat. So I'm pity pat pat. You listen to Zydeco? I love Zydeco music. It is very happy. I don't know. You know, I have a young kid. I have a 10-year-old, and you know, she's into listening to like the most random stuff, and she really likes, you know, like I have to listen. Generally, I have what she has on, but because she's been home, but I don't know. I like to listen to. It depends upon my mood. I love all kinds of music, but I love jazz music. So I usually have some sort of jazz music going on. I like that a lot. Is anybody else a fan of jazz besides me? This piece of paper is like actually almost bigger than my, it's not bigger than my table, but put it this way, it's coming close to the edge of it. It's like, it's how small my table is. So I don't want to hear anybody say that they don't have space to craft, because I'm crafting on a tiny card table, sisters. I am crafting on a tiny card table. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't know if I'm going to cut it up and make a meander book out of it. I don't know if I'm going to cut it and use it in, if I'm going to cut it and use it in embellishments or whatever. But I figure that it's sort of an opportunity to like go through my stuff and really use some of it and enjoy using it. You're not printing tags? Oh, I like to craft along like that too, Renee. I listen to videos too. Oh, Soundscape sounds nice too. I don't know if we must have Soundscape, but I don't know. Because I'm such a not a technical, like I don't know things kind of person, so It could be like anything. Now the one thing is, if you guys want to sit down and make these papers and not get yourself overwhelmed, first of all, don't get yourself overwhelmed thinking that it has to look good, because you're going to cut it up and use it as other components. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't have to have like all your stuff glued perfectly one to the other. I mean, it's going to be cut up. You know, I like every kind of music. Well, I don't like that really, like, I'm not a big fan of like that super heavy metal kind of head banging music. That does not give me a zen. I have to feel like I'm in a zen space in order to work on stuff. I have to really, you know, so I don't know about, you know, it has to like put me in a creative space. I love rock and roll. I love everything. I love rock and roll. I have one daughter that's really into country music, so if she's home, we have country music blasting. I have, you know, the little one, she likes all the contemporary music, like whatever's like the top 40 right now. It's kind of like whatever I think her friends are listening to too, as well. So she likes that, and so that's what I like. What do you guys, what's your plan? I don't know what you guys are, I missed the plan. Brenda, I missed your plan. I missed everything you're talking about, Brenda. What happened? What did I miss? What happened? What happened? You're painting the ants in your art room? Oh my god, that's so funny. You're going to paint ants and erase them? Oh my god, don't move to the tropics. There's ants everywhere here. You guys have no idea. It's like, I finally just like, I don't even care anymore, because, you know, ants are like the cleaners, so I don't even try to kill them anymore. I mean, I don't like killing anything if I can help it, but I really don't even try anymore with that, because I just like let it go. Because I was stressing you can stress yourself out over it. The ants are horrible here. No idea, they're horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Should dig in and find some other colors. This just happened to be because I was painting so many of these painted papers and had all these sprays, but I have tons of pages. I have a good hefty pile of painty papers. I have a good hefty pile of painty papers that I like. Painty papers. Do you guys, any of the rest of you enjoy making painted paper, especially when you're using book pages besides me? Or is it just me? And what I also like is the different fonts, the different writing and fonts and stuff. Do any of you guys, are any of you guys that into like the whole pages and writing and fonts like me? I mean, I'm into it. It's like I don't even think I realized how into it I was until I go back and I look at some of the things that I've made. Susan, you're singing for us? Oh, thanks, Mary Kay. I like to paint papers, okay? It's a little bit mindless, But I think for me, what happens is in the painting paper process, and I don't know if this happens to all of you, is I let all my thoughts go. And I just get myself in a really good Zen space. And, you know, anything that can bring me to that, I like. You know, I really do. Because I feel like there's so much chaos going on anyway. Susan's going to sing. Okay, you sing for us, Susan. I'm ready. I'm like way too into it. Like, I don't know if I went to that world's longest garage sale. You guys know my book obsession. Then I'd be really failing my calamari, as Susan calls it. I'd be failing it. All right, all you lurkers out there, say hey. Just making serendipity paper, one-of-a-kind paper for those of you that just joined us. And you can make it with anything. And I'm obsessed with making mine with jelly printed. I mean, it's not anywhere near done, but it's getting more stuff on it. You know, the idea is you don't have to lay stuff on every single area. You don't have to do it like maybe if you were gonna totally cover up everything. You just want to lay enough paper down, or enough that it gives a contrast when you start to cut it, right? When you start to cut it up into stuff. Did you see the cool... Who is it that made the really cool... You're disciplining your dogs like they're misbehaved children? Oh, please. My little dog, she's having her own moment this week. It's not been good for her. I mean, she's outside. She thinks she's a child, I realized. Like, she really thinks she's the same as my 10-year-old. And she's not. You know, but she thinks it, right? So, you guys know how much I love encyclopedia pages, too. Does anybody else like them? I love them. I love encyclopedia pages. You definitely need to back those on something, though. And you can usually get a free set of encyclopedias almost anywhere. You can get it almost anywhere. You know, now with the internet, I don't think anyone uses encyclopedias. I know they sometimes make the kids use them in school, but not much. But I like them. They're almost like rice paper. You can paint on them. Okay, Luana, have a wonderful day. You can turn it up and listen to us pitty pat pat. Hi, Amanda. No, my little rescue dog. Okay, so she was doing really good, and you know, we can tell that you can tell by the way she acts that she's been really abused, you know, and so we try to be so mindful of her, like, in everything, you know. And she bit me last week for no reason. I don't even know why. And I mean, we weren't doing anything out of the ordinary. And then she started acting out, like doing stuff like, she's completely house trained. And then she started like using the bathroom in the house and just doing stuff that she hadn't been doing. And so she nipped at my daughter, which she never does. She nipped at her. She wanted to go outside with her, but we have to put a little harness on her, you know, because she's a whippet, and she can run really fast, and she can outrun you. And if she gets away from you, she is like done, you know. She's like, it's ridiculous. So we always walk her on we let her run free in our backyard because we have a fenced-in backyard, but for the most part, for the most part, we walk her on we take her for a ride in the car, but I harness her. I put her on a harness and on a leash. Well, she tried to nip my daughter when she tried to put the harness on her. It's just been ridiculous. And somebody made the mention that she was probably mad because my daughter was away, which is true. She probably was. But anyway, no, I can't have a dog because we have lots of little kids in our neighborhood. And I can't have a dog that nips. you know? So I'm working with her. So she's just been really super temperamental. Well, yesterday the kids were playing outside and she was crying and crying and crying. She didn't want me to put her harness on her. So I said, well, you can't go. I'm like, see, I realized I'm like talking to this dog like it's a, like she's like a real, like she's can understand everything I say. And I said, well, you can't go outside unless you put on this harness, because there's no way that I'm gonna let you bite anyone. And then she like relented and let me put it on her, and then she played outside. She was gone. They were gone. Like, I kept calling and going, okay, it's time to come home. And my daughter would come back, and then the dog would go, and I said, just bring the dog home and leave her. And then the dog would cry. So the dog was literally outside playing with the kids, running around for like, I don't know, 6 hours. She came in like she was so tired. So today she wanted to do the same thing. So she's outside again. I don't know what she's going to do because school starts here next week. So I don't know what she's going to do with the whole school thing. She's going to be like out of her mind. She's going to be like, I mean, I can be with her, but I'm not going to be like out there running around like a crazy person. But she was running with the kids. She was having a good old time. She's totally pushing boundaries. And the thing is that I don't want to have to discipline her because, you know, she was not taken well care of, and people were really mean to her, and you can tell it. You know, your greyhound rescuers, well, she is definitely, she's so sweet most of the time. But when she nips you, it's like, it's out of the blue. It's not like you've come at her and done anything. It's just weird. So we've all been trying to be more mindful and trying to be, but you know, you can't live your life like walking on eggshells around your dog. I mean, that just doesn't work. And I don't walk with eggshells, but I don't want, you know, it's like, I don't want, she's just had such a hard life, you know. And I said to my partner, I said, you know, nobody's going to take as good a care of her as we do. So I would like to try and figure out how to make it work with her, even though she is really acting out and not being good. So yeah, any sort of thing you could. Yeah, I painted. Yeah, the brown paper bag is like this. Okay, here it has like, it's got a layer of black. Because I have, you guys know my chalkboard paint story, right? I bought this thing of chalkboard paint, and it's like it's like the never-ending bottle of chalkboard paint, and it won't go. It just. What I'm using for my base paper is a brown paper bag, just a piece of a brown paper bag like this, okay? And then what I did was I painted with chalkboard paint, and then I painted with some, and I didn't cover the whole thing, because can you still see, I don't know, can you still see the brown paper bag part underneath it? Like, you can still see it. I painted with black chalkboard paint, and then I painted with some cheap white acrylic paint like this, and I just put it on with a credit card, you guys. It didn't make it like, it wasn't fancy or anything. And the reason I painted some white over it is I knew I was going to use some spray inks, and they don't show up on, first of all, the spray ink if you just do it on the brown bag itself, it just absorbs into the brown bag, so you need a layer of something. And so then I did some cheap white paint, and then I used those sprays, you know, those acrylic sprays that I have, those Lindy Stamp Gang sprays. And then I did the same thing to this side. It just has more spray on it, or maybe I sprayed darker. I don't know, or maybe I didn't. That's all it is. And if you wanted to do this and keep it like the brown color underneath it, you might want to get some clear gesso, because otherwise anything that you put on top of it, is going to soak right in. And I'm just using a glue stick. Hey girls, I'm live streaming, okay? So anyway, did you have fun? Were you outside with the girls? The dog just came back. Did you have fun? So she's probably gonna stand at the door of mine. Anyway. No, she doesn't. She didn't nip me trying to. She nipped my daughter trying to put her harness on. She's nipped without anything on. No, the harness is like, it's not a big deal. It's not. I checked it and rechecked it. I just think she's got her own memory issues. You know. Yes, she does leashed walks. We do leashed walks and we run and she plays and so I mean the harness thing is pretty much every day if we take her, like especially if we go to the beach and stuff like that, we leashed walks. No, it is a hard situation to be in cat and we love her so much, but it's just a really, I don't know. It's just a really it's a really sad thing because you know when we got her, the lady that found her wandering a highway, you guys, which was horrible. Um, she initially took her to the Humane Society and found out that she'd been adopted recently. Okay, so that means that, and then the Humane Society said, well, you can leave her here, but we have to, you know, we'll have to contact the former owners and this and that. When she'd already contacted the former owners, she did the investigation to like walk around and find out where the dog came from, and then she found, you know, the gardener who was watching this place for the people that previously owned the dog, and I don't even think they lived here anymore. I think they were like off island, and they just had the gardener said that he feeds the dog, you know, a couple times a week, and you know the dog was cooped up. But so she obviously has these. I can see like if she has these biting issues, and you initially adopt her, and she's very sweet and kind and loving to you, and you're very sweet and kind and loving to her, and then all of a sudden she just starts nipping at you. It's just her. It's her energy. Like, you know, it's like an abused child. You know, she has like I'm sure she has post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, you can tell. Okay, I know this is looking like crazy busy, but if you can just imagine like what it's gonna look like with, you know, when it's cut up into pieces, it'll be really good. Yeah, she is young. She's not. I don't even think she's 2. She is a Velcro dog. She wants to sit on my lap all the time. That's the other part. It's like she'll nip at you and then she'll crawl on your lap. So you totally know it's like something like she's reliving some experience that you're just not privy to, you know? That's all. So all you lurkers out there, come on, say hi. We don't bite. We can see you lurking. So we're making serendipity paper, which is one-of-a-kind paper. And let me see if I have anything. I had all those things that I made stuff with it last week, but I don't have it in front of me. Here, I have this one. So, you know, after you make the paper, you cut it up and I made this like little journal embellishment. You know, I just took it to a die cutting machine and die cut 2 pieces from a different piece of serendipity paper, and in between it is a piece of cardboard, corrugated cardboard. So you can use it for anything, you know, like make your one-of-a-kind embellishments, your paperclip embellishments. You can also, you know, made all kinds of stuff with mine. You can make tags, you can make anything, whatever flowers, those flowers that we made, it'd be great cut out of this, you know? Can you imagine? They would be like cutting different petals and stuff. That'd be great. So, great way to use up your scraps and your stuff. And you don't have to be tearing your book pages like me. I'm sure all of you, if you have been doing paper crafts for any length of time, you will have little tiny bits of paper that are not good for anything. This is a great use of them. Have I lived in Hawaii a long time? I've lived here about 9 years, I guess. I guess, is that a long time? Yeah, she does need love. She is, I'm telling you, she sleeps with us. She sleeps under the covers with us. Oh, you guys, she's bringing me her toy. Did you find your baby? Come here, bring me your baby. Did you find your baby? She has a baby. She loves this baby. She's a sweet dog. She's a very, very sweet dog. Hi, Grace. So if you guys make anything with your serendipity paper, head over onto our Facebook group and post the pictures of what you've made. I always love to see what you guys are working on, and I love to see what you're making. You know, it's fun. It's really fun for me to see what you're making and what you're working on. She brought her baby to me. You guys, she wants me to throw it for her. I don't know if I can reach it, sweetheart. No, I love her. It's just, you know, I don't know. It's just like we're around so many kids all the time. I just can't, the liability of her biting a child is like, I don't know. I guess I just have to be on her more. Or like, you know, like be aware of her more. Because I can't imagine that she would have a better home with anybody else that would, you know, love her so much. She's a sweet dog. She's so sweet. That's the part that you get like off with. You're like, oh no, like. So I enjoy making this. You guys might not find it as zen as I do, but I do, because it's sort of mindless, and you can use up all the bits and pieces and scraps that you have. And you don't have to make yours as big, you guys. I've made mine on little. You do need a base though. You do need a base. You need like either a book page, or like this is a shopping bag, a brown paper bag. And it is going to hit its ugly stage. They all do. And you're not trying to make it beautiful for an end product, because you're going to use it and cut it up and put it in components. So, and you can pick a color theme. Like somebody else wrote me something and they said, what about this? I said, pick a color theme if you want. I mean, I made a whole journal, the embellishments for a journal, and some of the pockets and some of the other stuff from monochromatically from serendipity paper. So I just had painted, I made my serendipity paper monochromatic because I had whatever I was making it with was what I had. You know, I didn't have like a ton of different stuff, so I just, you know, used what I had. And it happened to be like in greens and browns and stuff like that. She's never bit one of the kids. It's only me. Hey, Sherry. It's only me. She's only bit me. She's never bit one of them. You know, she doesn't even try to bite. She doesn't growl or anything either. That's the thing. You know, like there's no warning. She could just be pissed off at me, you guys. I don't know. You know, just like everything in my life. Okay? It's me. It's just me. You guys, it is my life. It's ridiculous. Anybody have any big plans for the end of summer? Are you guys going to go do some wild vacation? When I was a kid, we used to plan our vacations toward the end of the summer, so it felt like we did something before we all had to go back to school. So what are you ready? I haven't, you know, we don't have a muzzle. I guess I should try one. I mean, I haven't, so we are planning our own little, like, I think we're going to go do like a camp out on the weekend just because school starts on Monday. So tell me what you guys have on your crafty table. I want to know. I want to know what you guys have on your crafty table. Susan, what are you and Bet making these days? What's in your crafty What's on your crafty table, Bet and Susan? You guys must have some cool stuff on your crafty table. No, Bet was doing lace a while back. Are you still doing lace? Doing some lace, Bet? So, you know, this is a great way. If you find those really tiny, I mean, look, I am not trying to enable you or encourage you in any way, shape, or form to keep little tiny bits of paper if you're never going to use them, okay? But if you have them and you've used them, or maybe you have expensive scrapbook paper, like I know I have bits and pieces from like my die cuts and stuff like that. I have all that sort of stuff, so I don't know. I'm like, what's kind of cool is once you start painting this paper bag, it takes on a really cool texture. I mean, it actually is like, it feels better than, like it's more usable, more durable than it was before. It was just as a brown paper bag. So yes, you're doing lace on pages, Bet. Awesome. For a journal. Awesome. Mary Kay says she's back and she has some challenges she's mailing out. That's awesome. Good for you. What challenges did you do, Mary Kay? If you feel so compelled to share it with us, what challenges did you do? Did you post it in the group, Phaedra? Did you guys see Phaedra's baby dolls? She makes such beautiful baby dolls. I put it on my wish list after we finish the renovation of our kitchen. I'll put it on my wish list to get one. I would like one. I love dolls. I don't need another thing, but I would like one of your dolls, Phaedra. So, I used to have an amazing doll collection when I lived on the mainland, but I don't have it. I have a few dolls now. I don't have as many anymore. I love dolls. I think that, you know, everybody has their own like weakness of things that they like to. So I used to collect dolls. I used to make dolls, not like yours, Phaedra. Mine are more like art dolls. Mine are definitely not as professionally nicely done as yours. But it's beautiful. So you did a napkin swap, Mary Kay, and an inspirational quote swap. That's nice. Phaedra makes her dolls are really beautiful. She makes them tiny. They're all different, sort of, from tiny to big, right, Phaedra? Liz, you're going to a DC fountain pen show? It sounds fun. I love DC. Oh, Phaedra, I'll get one. I just, you know, it's hard for me to put that in my, you know, with all the stuff we have going on right now. You know, it's like, I put it on my crafty I must have list. I don't really have much. I really don't collect many things anymore. I used to have a lot of stuff that I used to really go for and collect and have, and now I'm in a different phase in my life. Are any of you guys in that phase too, of like, where you're just realizing less is more and it's better? Less is better. Less is more, or I don't know, is that the saying, less is more? So I was thinking what I might do with this piece is, I mean, I could totally make a meander book with it, but I was really thinking more than a meander book, that I think I would really enjoy making some pieced, you know, cutting out. I do have some very intricate die cuts, and so I was thinking I might enjoy making some very intricate die cuts with it and adding them to some cards I'm making. You totally understand that? Phaedra says her dolls are from 4 inches on up. But the one you made was like life size, yeah? Was that the one that you were working on, or am I wrong? So please, you guys, I'm not trying to encourage you in any way, shape, or form to keep tiny bits and pieces of paper that you... I'm not trying to encourage any more craft hoarding. You know what I mean. You know what I'm saying, right? You guys get it? But I am saying that if you do have it, and if you do have fragile book pages and you don't want to throw them away, because honestly you can't really use them for anything else. You can collage with them. You can use them in your collage and your mixed media. You could also use this paper. How many of you guys make ATCs? Oh, that's what I was going to tell you guys. Less is more unless it's crafts. I agree, Renee, you're right. You'd be scared of a life-size doll. You're so ridiculous, Susan. It's like a baby doll life-size, like, you know, little small, like a small infant, newborn infant life-size. It's not... You're so hilarious. Oh my gosh. Less is more unless it's crafts. You're right there, Renee. You were totally right. So I want to mention to you guys, how many of you guys make ATCs? And if, for those of you that don't know what an ATC is, it's called an artist trading card. And it's usually how people... It's how artists would... You know, they were traditionally something that you would make, and like a calling card. You could trade with other artists, or that's how other people would know you. And little tiny, they're usually 2.5, like a playing card size, whatever size that is. What is that, 2.5 by 3.5, something like that. So, how many of you guys have ever made that artist trading cards? I love ATCs too. So this is a great ATC background. So if you guys enter any of those ATC swaps, yeah, 2.5 by 3.5. If you enter any of those ATC swaps, these make amazing ATC backgrounds. Okay. They make amazing ATC backgrounds, and they all become absolutely one of a kind. Because, you know, no two pieces of the serendipity paper is alike, right? So, I think it's cool. Now, if you guys are going to completely cover up your thing, you don't have to paint it. I just didn't know what I was going to do, because the last time I made one, a paper bag one, I didn't cover the whole thing up. So... that's why I don't want any more arrows there. That's why I didn't tell you, you know, but you don't have to paint it, but you do have to put something on it, because it's just porous. So if you're going to paint over the top of it or do any more work to it. What do you need to say now? You're a senior raising grandkids. Oh, Grace, you're awesome. You're awesome. You're in a sandwich position, Renee. So am I, kind of. I'm in a sandwich position too. So I have to say, though, I enjoy having my little one. I mean, I don't know if I would have thought that. I mean, of course, you know, you love your children no matter what, but I'm kind of enjoying more being a parent now than I did when I was younger. I think I was much more stressed out when I was younger. You know? More stressed out, doing different stuff. Anyway, back to the ATC thing. So, next week, I know we still haven't sewn in our shabby chic journal, but can I tell you guys, I'm a little bit over it, because it's not my style, and I think I'm overthinking it too much, and I want to paint it, and you guys see my style. My style's trash. My style's trash. My style's recycling trash. Kids do keep you young. You're absolutely right. Yeah, she had a magic show this week. It was hilarious. Remember when you were kids and you played in the neighborhood with your other friends, and then... Okay, I need other colors in here. I need to decide what other colors I'm going to add. She did a magic show, you guys. It was so precious. Her tricks were hilarious. No, and you had to pretend it was me and a grandparent, okay? What does that tell you? It was me and a grandparent at the magic show that they created. What I want to do is I want to do a series, an ATC series. So how many of you guys want to join in and do that with me? I get hamburgers at Starbucks. I knew I'd never live that down, Brendan. You didn't say a word the night I told everybody. Oh my God. Are you kidding? My daughter, remember I told you guys I have a daughter that moved to Japan? Well, she called me yesterday, and now they're moving to China. And she's very excited. She's moving to Shanghai. Now, I've been to China. Can I tell you, the air quality there is so bad. If you have asthma, don't ever travel to China. I mean, I don't have asthma, but I felt like I did when I left. The air quality is so bad. I'm excited for her because I know her life, she's on an adventure, but I'm not, excited about, she's like, can you come visit? She was like on me and on me and on me about visiting. She was like, I checked flights and they're, I was like, okay. So they're moving. So she's excited about that. Sherry, I started with a brown paper bag. It's a brown paper bag that I painted on. I've been trying to use up my stash. Like trying to use up all my book pages, not use them all up, but when you have piles of little collaged papers, and trust me, I have little boxes of I have a box somewhere. I don't have it in front of me, but I have a box somewhere close by here. Or maybe it's probably in the garage, but I have a little file of just like little papers that I've cut up and used for stuff. So so what I used to begin with, Sherry, was a brown paper bag. Okay. And I painted on it. With chalkboard paint because I bought, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, I bought this bottle of chalkboard paint. I don't remember what I was making at the time that I bought this chalkboard paint, but obviously I needed it, right? And it's like this never-ending bottle. It's like I think, okay, I'm going to almost be done with it. And I think it grows overnight or something. Also saying she bought a bunch of books the other day at the thrift store, and the clerk started to tell her about crafting videos that she'd been watching, and I think she approved of my choices. That's awesome, Alta. That's awesome. That is so awesome. So that's the best, right? When like you go to buy something and somebody gets you, they completely understand what you're doing and totally gets what you're doing, thinks it's awesome, and approves of your purchases. So I don't know, but I have all these. I mean, I am tearing up the ones that I've been painting today, or I've been painting them all week. I've been trying to make myself disciplined enough to do 20 pages a day, like 20 painted papers a day, and then I'm, putting them in an accordion file. You know my crazy magazine accordion files that I make, and then putting them in that. So I can drive up to your window and you'll make me a burger. Oh, Grace, you're awesome. You're hilarious. Oh, I would love I would like a mushroom burger. You guys, I love black bean. Oh, Renee, if you have a good black bean burger recipe, let me know. So last year I was obsessed with making beet burgers. How many of you guys have ever had a really good beet burger? Oh my God, they're amazing. And I was obsessed with making them. Okay, guys, my family was like so over me. They were like laughing at me hilariously, hysterically all the time. Because I would try a new beet burger recipe, I don't know, all the time. I finally made one that I really loved. but I probably couldn't replicate it because it was like one of those trial and error things, and I don't know. I love a good black bean burger. You guys, I was vegetarian for like a million years. I was vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian. I've been a vegan. I juiced. Now I just kind of, I don't really eat red meat. I eat chicken occasionally. I eat fish. I love fish. I have a big love affair with fish. So I love fish, and fish here is really good. All you lurkers in the back, say hey. We need some lurk and talk. Okay, I'm just trying to decide. I have all these papers here. I was just trying to see if there was like a color, more of a color palette that I wanted to use. Remember I told you guys I got that cool old Shakespeare book? Well, those pages are super brittle. I mean, super brittle. That Shakespeare book. So those would be perfect to use for this. I did use them and made some tags with them. I glued them onto brown paper. I glued them onto a brown paper bag, and I glued them onto a brown paper bag. And I made tags. The pages of those were super thin. Super, super, super thin. Super, super, super thin. This is also good for, you know, how many of you guys get really cool labels off your food? If you took food labels, I've made the same type of paper with food labels. Yes, a beet burger. You've never had a beet burger? Oh my God, they're so... I'm not going to mistaken you for a good cook, Renee. Okay. A beet burger, like yes, like a beet, like a red beet. Oh my God, they're amazing. Come to Maui and I'll make you a beet burger, Susan. Oh, you're making tags, Mary Kay? Awesome. I'm going to tell you, Suzanne, Renee, if you had this beet burger, it was amazing. Amazing. I had one first at a really fancy schmancy restaurant in the Carolinas. I had one at a fancy schmancy restaurant in the Carolinas. And then I came home and I was like, oh my God. I was like thinking about that beet burger. It was amazing. That was a ridiculous, that was a fun sort of tangent of my time in life at that moment. Beet burgers. Love the beet burgers. They were awesome. I love bean burgers too, but if you're a vegetarian or vegan, try them. I mean, bean burgers are awesome though. Black bean burgers. These are awesome. You guys, it's not an ethics reason why I don't eat meat. I don't eat meat because it doesn't work well with my body. You know, it's like, I'm not opposed to whatever you choose for you. For my body, it just was not working for my body. You know? You feel free to do what you want. I mean, I don't criticize anyone for what they eat. We all have our own journey, and all I can tell you is right now, I can only eat what makes me feel good. You know, it's like it has to give me energy and make me feel well. I can't eat it. Renee for president. Renee, you don't. Okay, Renee, you don't. Beet chips are cooked. I don't know why you think they're not cooked. They don't serve them to you raw. You grate your beets. You grate them, and then you mix them with like breadcrumbs and I can't remember, you guys. I had to make my own one up. I found one online, and the picture of it looked amazing, right? It was on a food blog, and then I tried it, and there's no way the lady actually cooked it, like to make it, because when you cook it the outside, because beets have so much sugar in them, the outsides of the, hang on a second guys, I have to look at this. The outsides of the beets, when you fry them in a frying pan, they get char black. But when you cut them on the inside, it actually looks like you're eating beef because it's bright red, like the rarest burger you'd ever have. So I wrote her. I said, so tell me your secret to cooking yours. Because I said, how do you cook yours? And it doesn't. And she's like, oh, I've never. And the other thing is you have to add some sort of a binder to it. So you have to add egg or an egg substitute or something like that because it just falls apart. And when I said something to the lady on the food blog, you guys, I don't usually write people on food blogs, but I was so pissed off because, and everybody had written, oh, bravo, I'm going to try this. And I was like, I wrote on her food blog. I tried it. Mine didn't look like that. I said, your picture, the picture you have is of yours uncooked. And she was like, oh, no. I said, so then show me. I said, show me your step by step. Because I said, the sugar on the outside of the beets browns no matter what you do. Anyway, so she told me that that she cooked hers and that whatever I did or whatever, I was just like, liar. I was like, okay, why? This is free, you guys. It's a food blog. It's not like a, I was like, whatever. Shepherd's pie. I can't, you know what? I can't eat, you guys, my body just doesn't, I feel so unwell after I eat it. And it doesn't even have to be a lot. It can be a little. I feel so unwell. And every now and then I try again. I'm like, oh, you know, we'll go somewhere, or somebody will have cooked something. I told you guys my vegetarian stew story, didn't I? About my aunt and the vegetarian stew. So Hadi and I I had to go deal with, one of my family members had passed away, and I had to go deal with cleaning out the house thing. And you know, that's really stressful. You know, no matter what you do, that's a really stressful thing, right? And so we drove, I was there doing it on my own, and then he called me and he said, bye, Phaedra. Oh, me too. Who's a liar? What? Who's a liar? I'm missing what you guys are saying. Bye, Phaedra. Are you guys still talking about beets? Oh my god. You guys are so funny. Anyway, so we went, I was there by myself dealing with cleaning out the house, and he happened to call me and he said, what are you doing? And I said, you know, I told him, and then he flew there to help me, which I was grateful for, okay? Because we were just friends at that point. There wasn't nothing there. I mean, maybe there was, I just didn't know it. You know what I mean? So anyway, he was a vegetarian. I don't even know if he ate meat at that point. I mean, he might have been a vegan. But he had been for like years and years. So I tell my aunt, you know, that this friend of mine's going to come help me, and she's like, oh, great. Now, she's like, oh, great, I'll cook dinner. And I said, well, he's a vegetarian. And she's like, okay. And I repeated it. He's a vegetarian. You know that means he does not eat meat. Like, because, you know, I'm from Texas, you guys. I don't know what my family gets and what they don't get, you know? So I pick him up from the airport, and then we go to my aunt's house or whatever, and my aunt is cooking an enormous pot roast, like in a crock pot. Like it's huge. And then she says, I've got dinner cooking. And I'm like, okay. And she said, yeah, I made pot roast. And I said, but I told you he's a vegetarian. And she says, well, I put extra vegetables in it. Oh my God. Hi, Lynn. She put extra vegetables in the pot roast. Okay. And so being polite, he ate it. You guys, he hadn't eaten meat. He didn't eat the meat part, but he ate the vegetables. You guys, he hadn't eaten meat in, I don't know, 20 years. Anyway. Is that ridiculous? Isn't that ridiculous? So vegetarian, from vegetarian to vegetarian pot roast. So the joke is, you know, that he eats that about the vegetarian pot roast. You guys, stuff happens. What can you do? What can you do? Now I may still paint on this and stamp on it, but I do want to get, I think I do want to cover up some more of the dark part. I'm not going to worry so much about it and I'm going to go back, because after you get all your papers down, then you go back and you add your markings to it, your stamping, your all kinds of stuff. Lynn, I loved your cards that you made, by the way. I thought they were awesome. I liked your Christmas cards. I liked your rendition of the Christmas cards. You used music paper. Yours looked awesome. Mine was just ridiculous, but, you know, I loved it. Okay, lurkers, say hi. Lynn, he's totally a keeper. Okay? He is totally a keeper. I mean, can you imagine how ill he was after he hadn't eaten meat in years? I mean, he had, you know, let's just say, if you haven't eaten meat in a number of years, and then you even eat something cooked in meat juice, meat broth, meat energy, or whatever it is, your body definitely has a reaction to, yes, vegetarian pot roast. We laugh about it all the time now, but at the time it was not funny. At the time, well, I mean, it was funny. He has a good sense of humor. You know what? He doesn't say anything. He's like, he is the eternal optimist, and he does not, he's an eternal optimist. He is so funny. He is, yes, we talk about the vegetarian pot roast, you guys. That was so ridiculous, the vegetarian pot roast. Yeah, your body can't handle it, Lynn. You're right. It was ridiculous. When I tell you guys I have a ridiculous life, sometimes, I mean, I hope you guys really know I'm serious. I mean, there's no exaggeration to it. It is what it is. It is totally and absolutely ridiculous. It was like, and I even said it to her like a number of times. You know that means no vegetables, right? I mean, you know that means he only eats vegetables, right? Like, I didn't think I'd have to break it down and say, and you can't cook the vegetables in meat broth, you know, or cook it with a piece of meat. But hi, Lisa. Okay, lurkers out there, say hi, all you new people. So I will tell you what's kind of zen about making this serendipity paper is that after you've made it a few times, after you've like really made it a few times, and like this one's going to be quite a large piece of serendipity paper, and if I'm going to put it through a die cutting machine, or I could use punches on it, you know, you need to make sure you don't make it too thick. If you're going to use punches on it, try not to make it too thick because it won't go through your punches. If you're going to use a die cutting machine and you have, you know, like those really fat dies, the bigs dies, the ones that are not those little tiny thinlet dies, it works fine. So it works fine with in a die cutting machine. I can't. You just have to be aware of whatever you're gluing down. If you think you're gonna, like, if you're making it and thinking, oh, I'm gonna use my punches on this, and that's your goal, you just can't make it super thick. Like, you can't. The book pages that you put on there have to be, or whatever you're gluing down has to be able to be punched through. You know, and that's why I use glue stick. And I use a permanent glue stick. This is like I told you guys, like, my daughter gave them to me for. It was the Father's Day present. She asked me what I wanted. I said nothing glue, and she thought I was kidding. And then she bought Hottie a popcorn popper, and I found these glue sticks on Amazon. I would say that my favorite ones are like those. I like Oohoo, but I can't really get that here. I have to order it, and so I usually get Elmer Extreme. Have you guys ever used that one? And they come really big. They're not these tiny glue sticks, and I like those for this project, but I don't have any right now. I would say I do use a lot of glue stick, which is probably not good for the environment either. So if you're going to put it through a die cutting machine, it doesn't really matter how thick you make it. Well, I guess it does to some extent. Danita isn't feeling well today. Oh no, Lynn, what's wrong? Oh, I hope she feels better. Will you tell her I send her my love and I hope she feels better? Hi, Kathy. So just be mindful, like, when you're making this paper, like, using the thin, fragile book pages works well. That sort of thing. You know, just, the only reason why I'm even mentioning it is because, I don't want you to make it so thick that you can't use it. Like, you can't put it through your die cutting machine. She has arthritis. Oh, no. Oh, that can be really bad. Tell her I'm so sorry. Tell her I send her my love, and I'm thinking about her, and I hope she feels better soon. My mom had the worst arthritis. She suffered from rheumatoid arthritis for a long, long time, and it was very difficult for her and for. I mean, I've been there with it. I know what it is. It's not a fun battle. Is anybody gonna do anything for the eclipse? Are you guys gonna do anything fun for the eclipse? Is anyone having an eclipse party? An eclipse party. Yes, Lynn, please tell her. Tell her I send her my love. I'm thinking I might stamp on it. I'm thinking I might call it done for the moment and then stamp on it a little bit. I don't know. I'm just trying to decide. I could paint on top of it too a little bit. I could paint and spray on it if I wanted, but it already has a bunch. Look at it directly? Okay, it's probably a good idea. Well, I'm going to cut it up it's going to be cut up as components anyway, so part of me thinks that in the cutting up of it as in components, so that it's fine. I actually like this one. I think it's going to be fine as it is because I'm going to cut it up anyway, so I think it's good. Hi, Bridgeline. We're happy to see you. And you're right. It's better to look at it directly. All right. Renee says Arthur Titus is a bad man. I agree with you, Renee. Okay, well, I'm going to let this one be. And then I have another piece. And that one's pretty busy. But I can make one, if you guys, I'll show you my little process from the beginning to the, I won't necessarily glue on it. And I'll make it smaller. Do you see all my bits and pieces though? Does your desk look like this at the end of the day too? I mean, my desk, it's like, I don't care what my intention is. Okay, my intention can be, I'm going to craft neat, but I'm also working in a really small space. My intention can be I'm going to craft neat, but then this is what happens. Like, this is how that silly, ridiculous obsession with making one-of-a-kind paper can begin if you have all these bits and pieces. I told you my story. Mine was because I was paper crafting, and I thought, I was making something for someone, and I thought you had to make the paper. You guys, I'm not always the fastest horse in the race there, you know, like, you know, I take my handmade like a little too seriously, okay? It's ridiculous. I take my handmade a little too seriously. So this is what I did to begin. If anybody wants to make along, it's like so ridiculously silly, but this is my brown paper, my exciting brown paper bag. Okay. And then you need a base coat of something on it. And I'm using my ridiculous chalkboard paint. And this is what I did. Okay, and you could use it with white too. You don't have to have it black. Okay, I put it straight down on my paper. And then I have my credit card. And what did I do with my credit card? It was just right here. Guys, I'm like losing my mind. Oh, here it is. Then I use my plastic card. And I spread it all out. It doesn't have, you don't have to cover up everything. Cover up as much or as little or as much as you want. Okay. And then, because I like making painted papers. Is anybody else in my obsession of painted papers? Does anybody else like making it? Try calamari. You guys. I was talking to my daughter, you know, the one that's moving. The one that lives in Japan now, moving to China. I was telling her about Susan and the calamari, and she just thought it was hilarious. And then she was like, you know, Mom, I was thinking about it, because, you know, she lives in Japan, and that's where that lady Maria Kondo is from. She said, she was so funny. She said, I think you would probably give that lady a heart attack. I don't think if you had to have her come and help you, she would say, she would not understand your aesthetic for keeping things that most people would discard. You know, for a while I was keeping all these food labels. That's what I was going to tell you. So you can make the same serendipity paper out of food labels. And you guys, it comes out really cool when you cut it out. When you cut it in a die cutting machine, it comes out amazing. Or even fussy cutting. I put too much paint on there, so I am painting the whole thing black, but you don't have to. Okay, it's just because I have so much paint on my paper. Because I told you guys it's that paint, it's that ball of paint that will never quit giving. So anyway, do I seal it? No, I don't seal it, Grace. I don't know how to. I like her. Have you guys? I have. You know what, Jen? You know what, Lisa? That was my first time to ever see her live. I've only seen her. I'm in a group that she's in. And there's this really cool card maker. I'm not a card maker, you guys. You guys know my cards. My cards are my trashy cards. Anyway, I'm in a group that Jen's in, and that's why I even know about her. And the other day she was doing, I happened to be on Facebook, and she was doing something. She had just advertised in the group that we're in that she was doing something live, and that was the first thing I've ever seen of hers. Like the first card making thing I'd seen. But she does craft neat. She's named what's her whole name, Lisa? Jen Evers, I think. Is that it, or am I wrong? She does like the 5-minute card and the 10-minute card. So she was doing a live 10-minute greeting card thing the other day, and she's doing a greeting card challenge, which I think is great. That you mail her some stuff to be. Can you imagine if I mailed her something, Lisa? I'd be mailing her trash. She'd be like, "What the hell is this stuff?" She'd be like, "Is this a joke?" Whereas if you guys mailed me trash, I'd be like, "Woohoo!" You know, like if I was doing the same challenge, it would be like, send me an envelope filled with your junk mail and let me see what I can make out of it. So That I loved it though. I mean, but I'm not a, first of all, you know, I'm not a DigiKit person, you guys. I'm not a DigiStamp person. I'm not a DigiKit person. I'm not a Digi anything person. So, I mean, I think some of those digital downloads are amazing, but I feel like I have enough art supplies. I don't need to go and buy a digital download. Len, I fail at calamari. I don't care. I just fail at it. I fail completely at it. I completely fail. Some people are born with calamari in their blood. Yes, and cover with black gesso. If I have black gesso, I'm just trying to use up this bottle of 4-year-old paint, okay? I'm just trying, I bought this bottle of, I actually have 2 of them, okay? I have 2 different kinds of chalkboard paint. This one is, I have a Martha Stewart one and some other one. And somebody gave me one of them. I only bought one. But I can tell you, I have not successfully been able to use it up. The one good thing about this chalkboard paint, though, is if you wanted to make packaging tags, like say you make, I don't know, you want to make pasta box tags. You can paint it on the shiny side of the pasta box, leave the back side blank. If you don't want to make them, you know, put fancy papers on them or paint them, like really make a whole piece of artwork out of it. And then you can automatically write on them. I mean, I don't even know. Can I tell you, I don't even know. I think the project, the only thing I can remember doing with the chalkboard paint was I made with my daughter, my littlest daughter with her class, we made painted pots, you know, like you know, the kind that you buy at, the kind of pots that you buy at, well, you guys know what I mean. We made painted, that you put, the kind that you put herbs in, pot plant, you know what I'm talking about. Give me 1 second, you guys. So that's the only thing I can remember using that chalkboard paint for, but I'm just letting you know that, so it never quits giving. Yes, you can use black gesso. Okay, I do mine one side at a time. So I do the black, and then what I did, and then the last one is I added some metallic. Add a little bit of metallic underneath it. You don't have to do this, but you can if you want. I did it because I didn't know if I was going to cover the whole thing. What's the fly lady? I don't know the fly lady, Grace. Tell me about the fly lady. You guys tell me about the fly lady. Lisa, I'm the exact same way. I find something, I'm like, oh, just so you know, I'm live streaming. I don't know the fly lady. So you guys tell me about the fly lady. Who's the fly lady? Tell me about the fly. This is that really cheap metallic folk art paint that you can buy at a big box store. Okay? And I do the same thing, you guys. That's how I made those painted papers. To put now you could use these painted papers in your artwork. You don't have to glue stuff on top if you don't want. You could just go for it and make painted papers. I do that sometimes too. So who's the fly lady? You have to tell me the fly lady. Is she somebody I need to know? So that, is she going to help me organize my life? What did you say, Brenda? I missed it. See, the chat goes faster than I can see. You know what? I can't even get myself... Oh, she's a cleaning lady, Mary Kay? The fly lady says, pick one room each day and tidy it for 15 minutes. Okay, well, that's great. You can tidy your room, but my craft space is, like, ridiculous. I definitely need... I have them... I do have a box of stuff I am going to let go. I mean, I have been, like, I went through my books, and I did take some of them back to the thrift store. You know, I did do that. I gave some of them away. the ones that, because there's some books that I can get all the time, you know, but for whatever reason, like, people know I like books, so they bring me books. You know, friends that are cleaning out their houses, they bring me their stuff. That's the only thing, is that when people know you make recycled art, they think that you make it out of everything, and I don't. I mean, I don't make it out of everything. And some people think that when you make recycled art that you actually use trash. I don't use real garbage. I mean, that's fine if you do. I'm not criticizing you if you use real garbage. I don't use real garbage. The fly lady starts with the kitchen. Well, my kitchen's tiny and clean, so I guess I could declutter it. I thought about letting go of some stuff, but the problem is that, the problem is that I don't cook all the time, but I don't want to have to go buy something because I got rid of it because I wasn't cooking with it at the moment. Do you know what I mean? So you guys, everything that I use is inexpensive. I don't want to say I'm a cheap crafter, but I am. You know, I am. Like, I do have some nicer things, but I don't spend a lot of money on supplies if I can help it. Luana says she doesn't think the fly lady knows. The fly lady, I don't wear shoes either, Renee. The only time I wear shoes is if it's super hot outside, because the bottoms of your feet will blister if you walk outside. Like, the puppy was running around outside yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and she came home and her little feet were like blistered. So that, you know, that was like, so now I told you, you know, it gets so hot here that you can't walk on the concrete or on the asphalt or whatever. You know, I think most organizing people are not crafters. I have to agree with you there, because if they organized, if like Maria Kondo, if her life was a life of a crafter, I doubt very seriously she would throw everything away. Her creativity comes in the organization of things, you know? You're so funny, Luana. You're hilarious. Okay. So that's how I start my paper, all right? Now, because if I want to spray any spray inks on it, here, I'll show you. Let me find one. Where did I put them all? If I want to spray any spray inks on it, you're not really going to be able to see it. I mean, you can see it a little bit against the gold. Can you see it? Or that was copper I think I used. I don't know what paint. No, that was royal gold paint. You can see a little bit of the spray inks, but it's kind of a waste of your spray ink if you're going to, if you don't have a contrast, okay? So, at least that's what I've come to. And if you don't want your background black, but if you want your background black, then don't do anything else to it, right? So, yeah, I do both sides, Trish, but what I do is I do the painting on one side completely, okay? And then I let it dry. And then I flip it over, because, like, look at this one, okay? So here's one I painted already. So I did the painting on this side completely, and then I flipped it over and I did this side. Okay? Now you don't have to do both sides, Trish. Depends upon what you're going to use it for. But for me, because I didn't know, I thought maybe I would make another one of these meander books. And if you make a meander book, I mean, I made this one and I left the other side brown paper. I collaged one side and left one side brown paper. And then I had to go back and I painted it. And then I collaged on it, you know. But you don't have to. If you don't want to, Trish, it's up to you. I mean, it's your junky paper, you know. It's like, it's your painted paper. And so, for me, because I don't know what I'm going to do with it, and because the paint itself is not the, you know, the paint is not the spendy part for me, you know, because I have the paint. I've been trying to use up that paint, for that black paint forever. You used to be organized, Mary Kay, when you had only a handful of stamps. Well, you know what? But also too, I have to say, there are very organized people out there that are crafters, and I appreciate that. So I'm gonna go ahead. Maybe I'll just do that one 2 layers. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint the black on this side. You don't have to cover the whole thing. You know, it doesn't have to be. If you're gonna collage on top of it, you don't have to paint the whole thing out. You know. But if you're going to paint on it, I would tell you to, because if you're going to use a brown paper bag, because, you know, it's porous and everything soaks into it. So if you're going to use your, if brown paper is going to be your canvas, I would definitely, see that paint's already soaked in. Because otherwise it just soaks into your paper and it just gets it wet. Alta says she went to Michael's and to Joann's the other day and you bought a heavy duty craft knife. Oh, to take apart your books? And she says she's a cheap crafter too. Alta, you know, it's not that I'm so cheap. It's just, for me, it's just, I can't see the point in spending. Look, I think if I was into all that scrapbooking stuff, I might get carried away. Those products are amazingly beautiful. Have you seen some of those people that just, first of all, I don't have the space to scrapbook. Like, can you imagine? So they print out all their pictures. Like, they take their pictures on their mobile device. They print them all out, right? And then after they print out all their pictures on a mobile device, they go and they make one 12 by 12 page and put one photograph on it. One photograph. One photograph on it. You guys, that is not my world. Is that your world? Do you guys, and for those of you that are, good for you. It's not my world. I cannot possibly take, can you imagine? So let's just say, okay, there are 5 children in my life, right? Grown or otherwise, right? And me and my partner. So that means that just multiply, like, so if all 5 of you are not in the photo, then what? So then what, you have like 1 page per person. So that would be like 7 pictures. It's ridiculous. Can you imagine? You'd have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures of yourself. And instead of like, and there would be pages of yourself. So there would be like 1 page per picture. I mean, I see some of the layouts. They're gorgeous. People do amazing things. But I'm like, I don't know. Guys, maybe I'm a bad parent. I never documented my kid's life that way. Is that terrible? What are you saying? What did I miss? Yeah, Kathy says when she scrapbooks, she puts more than 1 picture on a page. Awesome. Hey, I think that, hi Jamie. Oh, Jamie, you're good. Don't worry about it. I think, look, some of them are amazing. Like, there's one girl, I can't even remember, she's like in Finland or something. I've seen, somehow, I don't even know how guys, I can't, the same way I drove through Starbucks to get McDonald's that you guys were laughing at me about the other day, to get my daughter her chicken or whatever. Like, I find things like that on the website too. So like one of my kids is really computer, well, all of them are into computers, but I'll find cool things, and I don't know. I found some cool things, and she asked me like, well, how did you find it? And I'm like, I have no idea. You guys, I don't know. So that's how things come to me. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you how I found it. They all make fun of me about that too. So I found this amazing, she's an amazing artist. I'll try to post her in our group. I think her name is Paper Tillian, but I'm not 1000% sure. I haven't seen her in a long time. So maybe she's not on Facebook or on whatever. I mean, I found her in Other Life first, and then I found her Facebook thing. Paper Tillian is, I think, her name. She makes the most amazing mixed media scrapbooking layouts that you've ever seen. They are gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Definitely out of my comfort zone because she uses you know, really fancy high-end papers and, you know, all that stuff. But I have to tell you, the end result is amazing. I mean, but she puts one picture on a page. So I'm like, hey, I can only imagine. You know, one picture on a page. She probably has, and I think she has kids. I mean, I know she has one kid. She may have more than that. I don't remember. The only reason I know that she has kids, I've seen the pictures of them in the... Jamie, this was not planned. This was not a planned schedule, anything. Tomorrow we're going to make those Christmas ornaments. I'm sitting here painting papers, Jamie, and I wanted some company. And I'm painting papers. No, actually, somebody texted me earlier and said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm painting papers. And then they said, hey, do you want to Facebook Live? And I'm like, I can't Facebook Live, you guys. I just can't. I don't. My computer barely is compatible with anyway. I just said no. And then she, like, texted me back again and goes, well, I want to paint some papers with you. And she says, maybe other people want to paint and make some serendipity paper, too. I said, oh, okay. So, lurkers, say hey. Say hey. And for those of you joining us the first time, my name is Shelly. I live on the island of Maui in the beautiful Hawaiian Islands. And my kids call me a trash picker because I take things, I make recycled art from all kinds of different stuff. So welcome in, and please feel free, you guys, if you haven't joined our Facebook group, come on over and join it. Crafting Mamas on Facebook. No, it's not Friday. Today's Thursday. Lamana, you made some serendipity paper too? Awesome. So that's the beginning for those who wanted to know, like, how it started. Okay, so that's how I started my brown paper. Now, you know, I went back and I added white to it on this one. And you don't have to do your colors as dark, you guys. It's your choice. You can make wrapping paper out of this, you know. What's really cool is that the brown paper actually gets a really much nicer texture to it than it had when it was not textury. Oh, Jamie, you're awesome. Your soaps look awesome, Jamie. You're doing a great job on your soaps. Have you been die cutting a million things? Kat, where do you live? I know you must have said it and it passed by through the scroll and I missed it. Yeah, everybody share where you're from. I know I tell you to do it every week, but do it because people have found their crafty best friends. People that live really close to each other and have gotten together and started crafting. Just because they've met in a chat on YouTube. And I love that. You live in New Zealand. Awesome. One of my most favorite crafters is from New Zealand. She's, oh my gosh. You guys, what's her name? I think she's Paper Obsession or Paper on YouTube. I'm so paper obsessed, but I haven't seen her videos in a long time. Jamie lives in Colorado. Bet lives in Houston. Brenda lives in Indiana. Kat lives in New Zealand. Bridgeline lives in Brighton, England. And Trish lives in Tampa Bay, Florida. You live in Melbourne, Florida. Awesome. Yeah, Paper Addiction. I love her. I love her. I haven't seen her in a long time, but I love her. Upstate New York. Where this is the best time of year right now in upstate New York, right? It's so beautiful. And Chicago. So I'm obsessed with these sprays right now, but you know that changes too. Tacoma, Washington. Awesome. So that's what I did with these painty papers right here. You know what's cool about these painty papers is I was actually going to make a... You're initially from Buffalo, Anne? Buffalo's... And Alta lives in College Station. I love College Station, Alta. Cassandra from New York City. Cassandra, I lived in New York City most of my adult life. Up until I moved here. Actually, I moved from New York City to here. Believe it or not. So I thought about making a journal cover out of this. I mean, out of, you know, like making sewing it on the sides, and it would need a little bit more reinforcement because it is just paper, just, if I was gonna actually bind it in, but I was thinking about maybe folding up the edges and sewing around it, and I don't know. But right now I've been making that serendipity paper, so I'm kind of like in the serendipity paper groove. So tomorrow we're making snowflakes. If you guys want to come make them, they're actually fun. I'm going to make them. Bring any kind of beads. I know I told you guys to get seed beads, but just use any kind of beads. You just need whatever beads your wire is going to go through. And if you don't have wire, you can also use like fishing line. No, this is a brown paper bag, Jamie. This is a grocery bag. This is a grocery bag. This is a grocery bag that I painted. Okay, a painted grocery bag. Yeah, you could use this in your die cutting machine and make some cool embellishments. Just even as it is, you guys. Even if you don't want to go through the whole thing and do the... Hi, Melody. Hi, Kayla. Well, this was my big piece that I'm making today, Kayla. If you just joined us, I'm making this big piece. This is my big piece of serendipity paper to make today. But somebody asked me how I started it, so it's just showing them how I started it. So this is my big piece for the day. I don't know, I mean, I still haven't decided whether I'm going to paint on top of it or if I'm just going to leave it or what I'm going to do before I start cutting it up. Melody, where are you from? You can use seed beads and wires, but you don't have to make, we are going to make we're making seed bead snowflakes, but that's Friday. But I'm just saying, for anybody that joined us and that doesn't have seed beads and you want to still make it, you can make it with any other beads. They just look nicer when they're made with seed beads. That's all. We're going to do a super simple one tomorrow. You can add Tyvek tape, but can I tell you something, Jamie? You can also sew or glue in the inside of an express mail. Tyvek is a material, and you can buy the tape. I don't know how much a roll of tape is. You can usually buy it at a hardware store. But if you get as much mail as I do, somebody is bound to have sent you a FedEx envelope, or go to somebody that you know gets a lot of FedEx or express mail envelopes, because those are Tyvek. And those end up in a landfill, and they're indestructible, so you can imagine they don't compost. So go down to the FedEx, to whoever you know that has a business, and say, I would like to, can I have your used FedEx envelopes? Okay? And you can use that, and yes, that does strengthen the spine of your journal. I've used it many times, but I'm not into buying something that I don't need to buy that's going to end up in a landfill, okay? You girls know me. Anyway, girls, I love you. Lurkers, come on, say, you use FedEx, Cal, so use those inside of the envelopes. You have to paint over them and all that stuff, but the thing is, Tyvek does not break down. It is not recyclable, okay? Anything that's indestructible doesn't recycle. Use it in your journals before you throw it in the trash, because if you throw it in the trash, it's just going to end up that way. Okay, my lovelies, I am going to bid you all a fond adieu. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. So come by and chat me tomorrow. I will be on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. and we can craft and chat. And you know what I'll do in between now and then is I'll cut up some stuff with this. I'll make sure my serendipity paper is totally dry, and I'll cut up some cool bits with it. I may paint on it. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. It's a little dark here for me. All right, love you girls. Breathe in. Take a big inhale and exhale. And always, from my heart to your heart, I'm sending you guys so much aloha. Go over and join our Facebook group, Crafting Mamas on Facebook. I'd love to see what you guys make. Post, chat me there. Anyway, big hugs. Love you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me while I'm painting my papers. See you guys mañana. Aloha.